Oh, hello, Jackrabbits. Let's talk about Lent. Each year, the holy season of Lent is a time when you hear about Catholics all over the place giving up this or that, chocolate, alcohol, whatever it might be, in order to prepare for the annual celebration of Easter. Here are 3 ideas to help you decide what to do during the season of Lent. First off, Lent is not about a time of self-improvement. Self-improvement is not a tenet of the Catholic faith. Nowhere does it say you must become a better person. You must become holy by being conformed to Jesus Christ, but that's His work, not your effort. And so if you think Lent can be a time, I've always been meaning to take off a few pounds, so I'm going to try and do that during Lent, God may not let that happen. Instead, He'd rather you be spiritually purified. Now, of course, you might be able to take those pounds off, but if that's your primary goal of Lent, probably not going to work. And so, just be mindful, Lent is not a time per se of self-improvement. Second thing to keep in mind is that if you're someone who struggles with body issues, with your appearance, with how you look and things of that sort, and you're always kind of wondering again and again, and maybe you've even sought counseling for this to get some help in that regard, no pressure on you in Lent as well. And maybe doing something with food would not be a good idea during Lent. It might be better to do some sort of positive, substantial, spiritual things, like to pick up a good book, especially one by a saint or about a saint, and about their life with Christ. That'd be a better thing to do, better thing to pick up, than to worry about giving things up if you struggle with body issues and body image issues. And the third thing to think about for Lent is, what were the things you just confessed the last time you went to confession? When you go to confession, of course, we mention the sins that we struggle with. So maybe picking our Lenten devotions to counterbalance those things or to work against those things wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe God's already telling you where He's working in your life because you're becoming more attentive, you're becoming more aware to this or that struggle with sin. And so then that could be the area of what you do during Lent. So maybe you struggle speaking the name of our blessed Lord in vain. Okay? So maybe Lent, you try to first apologize every time you use His name in vain to those who are listening, even if they don't care. And 2, you try to use His name in the proper way. So when someone has good news, instead of saying, hey, congratulations, maybe say to them, praised be Jesus Christ. So that way you're using the name of God in its proper way. Now there's other ways you can think about that based on your most recent confession. And if you haven't been to confession recently, go. Make sure you get back to confession and maybe even in the first few days of Lent, and then you could still probably identify some things that you could do for the rest of Lent based off that confession. Or maybe you've been recently, but you've just forgotten. Well, then do a good examination of conscience and see, what are some of these ways that God might be wanting me to follow Him more closely in my life? It seems to me, though, in my experience of Lent, no matter what we do, how carefully we plan it, at the end of Lent, I'm usually left with the feeling of, man, I really need a Savior. I cannot save myself. And at the end of the day, that's the heart of the Christian life, and that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to realize I cannot save myself. I'm Father Andrew Dickinson from the Pius XII Catholic Newman Center. God bless you.